Hello everyone, welcome back to Tier 2 Talk, Josh. It's been way too long, man. We've been in the trenches casting CS and playing CS. Me mostly just playing CS. I've had one broadcast day since the last episode. I've been,
Oh, crap.
I'd like to say winning a bit of elo, but not much of that has happened either. So actually my life's been pretty pointless recently. How's yours been, Josh?
Yeah, do you know what? I've been doing a slow roast casserole this evening. 6 hours on the slow cooker. So after this episode, I'm gonna tuck in and hopefully it tastes nice.
We are joined by the Trick guys today. I do believe, Rejin, last time you were here, we were talking about elo, and you were saying, "Oh man, like I need to keep level 10." How's the elo grind going?
I'm back to level 10, baby.
There we go. And Salazar, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Just hit the 4K elo yesterday, so
Yeah,
Just fuck off, mate. Just
you know, I specifically didn't mention because I didn't want the rest of us to be humbled, but there we are. If you ever need a stand-in, Dweg's here, on cue if need be. I mean, we're talking about stand-ins and joking about that, Josh, but obviously we always talk about our first topic at least, is about the team that we're talking to today, specifically Tricked. I guess maybe to go through, I don't know if you want to start maybe like just start of this year, or if you want to go back a bit, or what the go is.
well, I just want to know what made Tricked come back. Maybe Rejin, you can start because I think for the most part, people were under the impression that Tricked was a household name, disappeared, never see them again, and then all of a sudden the announcement comes back that they're back and there's some new investors. And there's a couple of footballers, right, that are investing in the club too.
Yeah, Niklas Bentner and Peter Ankersen. Niklas Bentner used to play in Arsenal and stuff like that. They are also a part of it, yeah. I mean, I can give you the background if you want.
Yeah, go for it, mate.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so basically, I knew Trick was getting back together. So a little background there is that Trick was originally sold to some Swedish company. They kind of ran it to the ground, and Trick kind of disappeared because of that, because the IPs were owned by some other people. Then the owner of Trick, Morten, he went together with like we talked about, Niklas Bender, Peter Ankersen, the former owner of Singularity, at Atle, and Lars Seier was like an investor in Denmark, a really rich guy, I think. I'm not so much into that one, but they decided to make a group called Legendary Group. And then suddenly they figure out they want the Counter-Strike team. Me and Valde was out of TSM. I talked with him. Suddenly they figure out maybe we could reboot Tricked, and I think that's kind of how it was, like roughly, you know. I don't really have the full, like, I believe that's how the story goes. But if you want further details, you probably speak with Morten about that. But yeah, that's basically how it was. So I started talking with them around January, and then they were trying to sort it out, basically.
Yeah, okay. I want to ask you, Salazar. I'm guessing that when the offer came, probably felt like, fuck yeah, I'm off the bench now. I'm not actually getting to play some games again.
yeah. I mean, I've been on the like free agent bench, whatever you wanna call it, for 8 months. So it's it's a relief to be back.
Yeah, okay. So did you head the project then, Rejin? Or how did it come together to building the brand new roster? Because I think obviously from the outside, you wanted to try and keep the core. I'm guessing for VRS. I know that's been something we talk about a huge amount, Ryan. You know, but brand new rosters, it's so difficult to get started. The VRS actually suits, I would say, your team quite well, bringing in a core and bringing in people that have played together in the past, at least.
Well, we had to use Roy, right, to get the spots from the Gaming Gladiators, but as far as I can see right now, Valve just updated and we should be 57 in the world right now.
Okay. So how did that work with the Roy thing? Did he have to play any officials?
Yeah, he had to play the CCTs we had, and then I believe that's just creating the new core for the next month, and then yeah.
Yeah, so you're just doing like what NIP were doing with Jax instead of Arostos to make the core free of the points, yeah.
Yeah, we were just way smarter
kinda.
those.
Yeah.
They had the wildcard thingy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they used the wildcard thing, that's why.
I was gonna say,
that's right.
I think the rule is like you got to play 20 games with the core or something like that, like to.
No, they
officially
changed it to 5 now.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. So, I mean, it's
Yeah, the
less
new
now,
one
but
is.
you have to play a certain amount of games for like the new team to take on the points, right? So,
I'm not sure how it works because like this is what I don't understand. I remember Into the Breach did the same thing. I think they're like what called Wild Lotus now or something like that. I can't remember exactly how it was, but they used the old core in 1 month with the 2 new players, and where like so. Let's say they kept let's just take I think it was let's just say Smuya, whoever the fuck, doesn't matter, right? Smuya plus 2 more, and then the old core, then they brought a new one, and then they can basically swap out the old core and play with 4 new players basically compared to the old core. Something to do when the Valve ranking is updating per month or something like that.
I was going to say that just reminds me of what used to happen in ESEA. No, like if a newer squad wanted to take over an intermediate team's position, it would be like use the core of the old roster, and then after like a few weeks in the regular season, you'd then basically transfer everybody over.
Yeah. I think now it's just a bit more. It's a bit more scuffy the way you have to do it. I think like it's yeah. I don't know. That's all I
It's
can
just
say.
weird.
It's
Yeah.
really weird. Yeah.
There's many
Yeah,
holes in the.
It's just
system.
confusing,
Yeah.
and I think it makes it tougher as well when teams are kind of like exploiting it a bit, and then as well when Valve keeps coming in and changing it, which is a good thing. I think reducing the 10 ranked matches to 5 is a beneficiary, especially to newer squads like Sticko's Inner Circle or the B&E lads or any of the brand new teams, Sangle with their Beanox team.
Oh, yeah, for sure. No,
but-
don't get me wrong. Like
yeah.
I think like I do think VRS is quite good, but it just needs tweaking and stuff like that. Then it's gonna be okay, I think. But I kind of wish they did like a complete reboot, but at the same time, that's really difficult to do, and it will screw over the whole scene for a bit. But in some ways, we are still screwing over the scene right now, right? So yeah, I don't know.
It's funny, just quickly thinking about that. Something that I was talking about in the Compass broadcast today, Ryan, because Jay was basically saying, oh, like Eklot, they look quite poor. They're going to drop in rankings. And I was saying, well, no, because look at the local lands. I mean, look at last year, how many Tipsport and Playzone, Czechoslovakian lands. How many lands have you guys got in Denmark? I know you've got the Dust 2 Ligan. Is there anything else prepared for 2025?
Gamebox. It's
Oh,
like
the
in the city
Invitational. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing, to be honest.
Do you know if that's VRS or not sure?
I don't
I think
know
it depends.
anything about it.
I don't know yet. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that BYOC? I don't remember it being BYOCs. I can't remember.
I think it's a mix, no?
Yeah, I think it's you have to bring your own PC, and then it's like in the beginning, I'm pretty sure it's like some kind of group stage thingy, and then in the end, it's like last time I think they had like this square in the middle of everything where they had
Okay.
like how many teams was it? I think it was like 6, 8 teams maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like
Like
in
I've
this
never
square,
been
and then
at
they
it, so
play.
I honestly don't know.
Yeah. All right. Well, I've just added you one of the tweets, Ryan, just so we can get off this topic quickly, because I think we're just boring all the viewers by talking about VRS in every single episode. But this is just one that came through basically the pipelines today. We were talking about before the episode started of the Philadelphia LAN. Of basically the team that won it, Blue Jays, who I don't really know anyone on that team outside of Snav, came down 0-2 in the grand final, ended up winning it, and they jumped massively in the rankings. Now, I'm not surprised about that because I was talking with Finn quite a lot with the previous Epic LAN, Ryan, and kind of if you're in the know, LAN wins and LAN performances give you a lot of points. I'm not surprised that a squad like this has jumped as high as they have. I think teams just haven't quite realized until now. And I think this is where we're going to see the importance of going to events like Fragadelphia, going to events like Epic LAN in this year, and using the BYOC or whatever net cafe it is to try and get yourself quickly up the points.
Yeah, it is pretty insane, isn't it? How look here from number 17 to number 8 in regionally, and then 67th to 30th. I know we were having a chat, and you know, maybe I don't know how legit it is, Josh, but obviously we have our Epic LANs here in the UK, and there was rumors that NIP and Complexity were on the waiting list, and you're starting to see like some of these names crop up and be like, oh, we're interested. It makes you wonder, you know, like how these I suppose like grassroots events, but actually will not be very grassroots anymore and blow up into like a more even European or international events that people are farming VRS off.
Yeah.
But how does that work? Because like you need to invite people to be qualified for a VRS tournament.
No, you don't. You can
Really?
do a complete BYOC LAN that's VRS with
But
no
how do you
invites.
get to VRS then?
It's whatever's on
it's open.
HLTV, I do believe. So
yeah, so that's the slight limitation at the moment is that Epic Land for the longest time has only been top 4 on HLTV, and obviously VRS ranking and points only affect the HLTV games. But in theory, Ryan, like as an example, let's say you boys come in July and NIP come and a couple of other squads start coming, HLTV will probably look at it and say, okay, we should make it top 6 or we should make it top 8 or top 12 on HLTV, and then there's more points available in the ranked matches to play.
Yeah, so
But
the
that
better
does-
teams
okay.
that's in the tournament, the more HLTV wanna like cover it.
Well, yeah, in the past, I feel like they haven't had much of an incentive to cover more than top 4, to be honest, Ryan. I think with the level of competition, it hasn't been required. But I think now, especially with the international intrigue, making it more
But
than top
there is
4.
some problems with that, right? Because like, let's say we then decide to go there. Suddenly,
Yep.
we're the only team going there. We get fucked over because there's no VRS point, right? So it should be. It should
It will
actually,
always be
like,
VRS. Like it will what? Even if you guys go and no other pro team goes, it will 100% be VRS.
Because it's a bring your own PC event or
I guess so. I think it's based on like Epic has
But
always
are you
been-
sure that's the rules? Like, what is the official rules in that? Because
Do you
I'm
know
not
what?
sure that's correct.
We might have to double check on this one. We might not be
Yeah.
able to get an answer today, but I can guarantee you that every Epic Land running forward is 100% VRS.
Yeah.
And
See you
being,
at Epic Land then, Dweg.
mate, I kid you not.
Come to the UK.
I think we
I
will start
will.
seeing a lot of
Yeah.
semi-pro to tier 2 European teams start coming.
I mean, you got to
yeah.
think as well. Like even the
Well,
incentive.
when is the Epic Land actually?
Let's have a. I'll get the dates up, Ryan.
It will be Summer LAN. I think it's
Be like July, won't it?
July. So it's
End
July
of July.
July 17th to
okay.
20th. There you go.
We need it before the Major Lands. Come on,
Sorry,
Yeah.
mate.
get in
No,
there.
no, can't do.
Should have come to the last one.
Yeah, it's true.
Was that VRS?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alaska 500
Really?
points went to number 50 something
Yeah,
in the world.
they doubled their points.
I mean,
The
this VRS
360
system-
artist team.
I think it's good that they updated, but this is a mess, right?
What you think?
I'm sorry. I think so, right? Because
Why?
like then. Well, okay. So you said that. What you said that with the
Hold on,
this
I can
Twitter
check
you
for
just
you.
said, right?
there's also there's so many weird rules that like everyone trying to figure out
Okay,
a
so
way to
let me just open the GitHub here so I can get a bigger.
I'll chuck it up on the screen for everyone at home to see as well. Just to put it into perspective. Alaska as
Well,
of
so this is my point, right? Like, so
Okay.
I'm gonna make it very clear. Like, so
Okay.
we have a Blue Jays right now,
Yes.
ranked 8 in America, better than NRG, M80, Sharks, Fluxo, Bestia.
Yep.
Nouns. Are you kidding me? You know what I mean? Like that
But-
is the flaw.
No, I disagree with that because I think what it means is that all of those teams that are like now below, right? They need to be going to these lands. I think you need to be
But
prioritizing the land
okay,
events.
so I agree with that, right? But then they should communicate that better, that these events are actually VRS.
Oh,
because
come
we-
on. Nah,
why
they're
would-
communicated, mate. Nah, they are. They
No,
are.
you know what I mean, because not all lands are, right?
Yeah, no, I
Right,
think if you...
that is kind of a problem, right? Because like, let's say you are a small organization with limited budget. You then
Sure.
say, okay, we need this VRS points. Let's go to the Americas to play this land. Suddenly, there's no VRS points. That's an issue, right? Like, it needs to be like more. Well, I completely agree with you. By the way, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's a fucking amazing thing that that is the case, right? But it needs to be communicated which events are and aren't, right? I hope we can agree on that part, because otherwise it's
but
gonna
I
be
think
hard to do, right?
As far as I know, at least for the last Epic LAN, I think it was known at least a month before the date that it was going to be VRS. So I think it comes down to organizations and probably managerial people, Ryan, to be like, right, I need to speak to Philadelphia, I need to speak to Epic LAN, and I need in writing 100% that this event is going to be VRS. And then once that information is like definitely known, then it comes down to the TOs, not the TOs, the teams to start booking accommodation, start booking tickets. and start
I
booking
agree on that
everything.
part, right? But
Yeah.
I think it should be more. Because let's say you go to the. Let me see here.
So it's basically just whatever LAN tournament goes on HLTV that gives VRS points.
So the LAN and the TO has to speak to Valve about it. You can't just run a LAN and it becomes VRS. You have to apply and basically follow the rules and regulations
Yeah.
of it. So there's an application process to it. But to run a LAN, like I know that ice box. Remember, was it Ice Challenge or something? The one that Nexus were at with 500 and M80 in Barcelona in January.
Yeah.
That
Oh
was just
yeah,
some
yeah.
random LAN event, and that was not VRS. That was just like a 20K prize pool, 4
Yeah.
teams, 2 days, whatever. Fuck it, put the money in, see you later. But since then, I can't think of a single LAN event that's not VRS.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So you basically just have to do an application to Valve.
Pretty
and
much.
then
Yeah,
they
but I
say
mean,
yes,
like
and then
but then I also think it's kind of important that these organizers are telling that this is a VRS event, right? Because
Yeah.
we would even be incentivized to go to the American land that was just there for Philadelphia, because why wouldn't we?
Sure. Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it,
no,
it will
100%.
potentially shoot up the rankings, right?
Yeah.
Like so. I think there is like I love it that it's like that. It's bring back to the
Mm.
roots, right? When you have to go to events all the time, I think that's a good thing. But the communication has to be clearer and has to be more transparency in that one.
Yeah,
Just
yeah, and perhaps it's on a lot of parties involved, and because
Yeah.
it's such a new thing. But yeah, I would say I know it's a bit of shitty timing for a lot of teams, but the events that we have in the UK, both July and October, I wouldn't be surprised, Ryan, if we see at least 5 tier 2 European teams at both of those events, and I think
Easily.
we're probably going to see more than 5.
Easily, yeah. And just to put it in perspective, if you want to come to the delightful United Kingdom and have a little game at a PC for a weekend, Alaska before LAN were ranked 86th in the world and 59th in Europe, and they jumped to 48th in Europe and 67th in the world off the back of the epic win. And that was also including a loss to a team that wasn't ranked. So I think they lost here 20 points, so they could have been even higher than that by the end of
That's
the
good.
LAN. But
I
yeah,
guess we're going to the UK.
there you
Yeah,
go.
see
I'll
what's
be
there.
traveling a lot, lads.
Yeah, there you go. I guess on the topic of finished events, Josh, about us talking about lands and stuff, we have a couple things that you wanted to run through. Obviously, one of which the Series 20 CCT planes, but we're going to start with the PGL Bucharest quali, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Number
I just wanted
3.
to first off get a perspective because I was following on HLTV. I wasn't watching any of the games. I was just following it, and I remember one of the teams I think I was going to cast the next day or whatever. They played the best of 3 in the quarters, so I was like, done my prep right. They've qualified to the closed qual, and then I double checked the next day and I was like, hang on a second, no, they haven't. So you've played a best of 3 that doesn't qualify you to the closed qualifier. I've not seen that before. I feel
Oh.
like it's always best of 1s, and then the qualification game is a best of 3. So I don't know if you guys can give us like a time window. Did you have to play back-to-back best of 3s on the same day?
Yeah, it was really weird. We had to play like on the first day, we played the second qualifier, and it was on Esportail. And like first thing is that there was massive tech issues and all the qualifiers with anti-cheat and so on. But yeah, we had to play like I think the day we played like 4 or 5 BO1s, I think.
Okay.
And then after that, we're like it's not like every other qualifier where you're like done at 12 in the night or something. Like we were done I think at 10 or something,
Okay.
and we started at 16 maybe, or 17, and then when we were done, we next day play one BO1, a BO3, another BO3, and if you win that BO3, the second BO3 is for qualification. If you win that, then it's a BO1 for seeding, and then after that you're done.
Yeah.
So like yeah, and
Mm.
I don't know. I've never tried it. I thought it was a bug on HLTV in the beginning. That you
Yeah.
had to play 2 BO3s, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, a bit of a tough one. I think I've definitely been on the side, Ryan, that we need more open qualifiers, especially to help get teams in the VRS system. But look, it's going to have pros and cons, isn't it? I mean, the scheduling, the amount of teams, the tech issues, it is something that's going to be plagued. I don't think much can be done about it. I'd say for you guys, obviously this is for a fairly fresh roster, a pretty deep run. Were you disappointed, Rejin, that you didn't make the close qual, or are you positive that you were able to go as deep as you did?
We were playing with stand-in, so we had Nodio sick. He just became down with a terrible illness that was gone for like more than a week. So we had to use stand-in. We just started practicing, so there was no hopes or anything. There was just like whatever. Like,
Yeah.
Of course you want like you're one game away, but it's still like, yeah, it is what it is, right?
It was more like having fun and like know each other like the rest of us, like 4 of us, we like knew better each other, like how we play and in different scenarios and stuff. So of course it's sad to not qualify when we're so close, but yeah, it is what it is.
And I
when we
mean,
play
like
with
in
Brandon.
the end, it's a qualifier for a qualifier, right? Where you're going to a close qualifier with, I think it's 32 teams, right?
with
Yeah.
one going out.
Pretty
I
much.
And
think.
that's one spot, right? So it's like
Yeah.
you put all this time and effort in, and the chances are going through really not realistic when you're a new team, right?
Yeah.
Of course, we like it's not like we sit down and give up, but you're like in all real like when we sit down to play, we play to win, right? And we all always believe we can win, right? But when you look at it from the outside, like in hindsight, it's like, yeah, okay, well, it's probably gonna be rough anyway, right?
Yeah.
I just go on.
I
Ryan.
was gonna say one thing that does irk me. I know you were talking about this. I'll bring it up on the stream now. So obviously top 2 goes to the closed quali, and then
They got
one
postponed,
of these
but anyway,
teams- yeah, one of these teams go through to the main event. As much as we're complimenting, you know, being more open circuit and stuff, I think if Valve wants to lean so heavily on this VRS, having one slot from 4 different qualifiers, and then also, you know, like combining all of Europe plus the qualies, these are invited teams based off of Valve ranking in the first place, right? So, for a team like you guys, the fact that you have to go through a BO1 slogfest where you can just get knocked out by cheaters in one game and that's it, done deal. And there's only 4 of them, 2 slots from each. And then of all of the teams that qualified through the open quals, and then all of the teams that are invited just outside, based on VRS, 1 team makes it to the main event, I think is an absolute fucking joke.
Yeah.
Because I think
Yeah,
that
but I mean, like that's I think like one thing you're forgetting, or maybe not forgetting, but it's like you're still getting the VRS points for playing the last games. You're still
Yeah.
getting VRS points to play the qualifier and stuff like that. So as long as you get the VRS points, I think that's kind of the most important thing, because then you can climb the ranking and become one of the teams who gets directly invited, right?
The problem there, though, is
Yeah.
that I feel like we're shifting, Ryan, from, oh, a closed qualifier gets you to a main event, to now, oh, a closed qualifier gets you some points and can, like, make your ranking better. Like, we're actually starting to disappear from chances in closed qualifiers. If we keep getting these 32 big brackets with one team coming in, I feel like an expectation isn't even we can make the tournament anymore. The expectation is basically we need to just get as many games under our belt to help the
Yeah.
ranking, which to me is not what a closed qualifier should be. A closed qualifier should be the team slogging it out to see who's the very best team to make the LAN. And I don't
But
think
I mean,
we're
that's
getting
also
that.
going to happen, right? That's also going to happen regardless, because if you want many matches as possible, you also need to win, right? Because if you lose, you're out of the bracket, right?
I mean,
yeah, but I feel like the closed qual should just have either more slots or less teams.
Yeah.
Either way, I mean, 32 teams to a 1 spot is just insane.
Oh yeah, I mean, like that I think
Yeah.
also is kind of silly, right? You should have like at least 2 spots there, but I mean that's the way they decided to do it, and
Yeah.
that's just how it is, right? Like
yeah,
I
it is
like
true.
at least I'm happy that you can actually qualify for this event. There is events you can't qualify
True.
for, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I mean,
Well,
like
it is true.
at least you got that right.
Yeah, I
Well,
guess.
I looked
Go
just
on.
to go from the ESL standpoint. If you take their ESL Pro League and IEM events, I think only one IEM event in 2025 has at least a pathway through an open qualifier to a closed qualifier. Every other IEM event is just Valve ranking only.
And
I think
Um,
Dallas had, right?
Yeah, Dallas
Dallas has.
did. And then I think Cato doesn't, Cologne doesn't. And in the past, Cato used to have like the Meisterschaft, the Polish one, and then Cologne used to have Meisterschaft. So
Yeah.
there always was
was-
some pathway.
this was going to be my mention, right? Is obviously for us in the UK, we used to have ESL Premiership, and then you used to play conference, and then the conference was your way in. And even now, like they've scrapped the idea of conferences. Obviously, as you said, it's a big thing to have a chance to qualify when some TOs, like obviously ESL was Pro League, don't. But for me, it's like I feel like we're becoming more based on these points, and as you said, Rejin, like, obviously not to deter away from we can go to this event, we can try and qualify, but for you in your mind, longer term, it makes more sense to play these games and turn up to these events to try and qualify to get the points, so you don't have to rely on these open qualifiers. And for me, in an ecosystem of Counter-Strike, that doesn't quite work, because you should be playing to try and lift trophies. You should be playing to try and qualify and have a good run
Well-
and whatever, like the RMRs and whatever. And now for you guys, it was a case of you playing like an 1,000 team quali, 2 slots make it through. Of those 2 slots, you get invited to a 32-team qualifier, of which 1 team goes to the main event. And for me, that's... I understand, obviously, that's still a slot being offered to open qualifiers, but that's... Like, think of the percentages compared to points. It's like, for the little amount of the lower-end Tier 2 teams, like, if you're outside the top 60... The little chance that you have to play these open qualifiers, which are next to nothing. They don't even give that many points compared to main events and stuff. Like, I think you have a massive imbalance where the teams that are constantly going to be invited to your Pro Leagues, your Dallases, your Catos, your Colognes, like these big Tier 1 events where you sit just on the edge of it, you're going to benefit much more than teams like you that have to go and play an open quali to then play a closed quali to then get into the main event.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah,
just
but
as-
I think you're right. But I also think like that's just the situation we have right now, right? Like I think like
Yeah.
in the future it will be more stable and the points will be more evenly spread out, etc. But I mean that this is where right now VRS is kind of dog shit because of that. But in the future, that's hopefully it's gonna be better, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I said. I don't know if I said it when we were live or earlier, but like you could have done this big reset button, right? But that's also gonna be funky, right? But
Yeah.
but I don't entirely agree with you that yeah, it might only be 1 spot, but it was like that for many years, like 10 years ago.
Nah, it wasn't. Not as heavy as it is now.
I mean, if you
Or
went,
like-
if you wanted to go to like let's say ESL New York, right? You had to go
Yep.
through an open qualifier, but there's many teams, right? Then you had to play this insane bracket with like 32 teams, maybe sometimes 16 if it was like a lower event, like a DreamHack Open or something. But then still only 1 slot for the DreamHack Open, or it'd be 2 slots for the New York, and I think even 1 slot only for New York. But so it was there before, but at least you had the chance to go there. The biggest difference there was you winning any games. Like if you became second that didn't qualify, it mean fuck all. Now at least you became second and you actually
Yeah,
get
it's true.
something, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I actually don't agree with you that it's about not lifting trophy, because if you are lifting the trophy, you're winning more prize money, you're getting more VRS points, you're getting
Yeah.
where you want to be, right? So I think it's not for me. I think it makes sense, and I wish there would be more open qualifiers to see more teams.
Okay.
Now you
That's all I
actually
say.
get
I don't know
more,
about
like,
you, Jason.
you get more out of like actually grinding. Because like I remember when I played back in Aesthetic, I felt like we were playing all the time, but like we played 0 good events. Like we were just kind of like not stuck, but like it felt like we were stuck. Like the only events we played was on LAN was like the ones we qualified through the open and through the closed qualifier and won against some big teams. Like that's the only like big LAN events we came to, or like LAN events. And now you can actually just like, even though you don't qualify for like 4 events and you play a close qualifier and come second to 4 close qualifiers, then you actually get VRS points to like maybe get invited to the close qualifier or get invited to actually the main event.
Yeah. Maybe it's just a sample size thing, Ryan. Maybe we need to wait for the next few months to see how many
Yeah.
Tier 2 teams are actually going to start getting land chances. I mean, I look at this new Paravision team, yeah, the one that Jame and Kickit are on. Man, they look insane in Tier 2, but yet they're still like 80th on the Valve ranking because the one CCT tournament they played was unranked. And they won a CCT, but then they keep getting invited back to the closed qualifier. And it just feels like it's such a step back for a team that's doing as well as they are. But maybe that's just how you have to play it out. Give it another month, give it another 2 months, and they'll be top 50 or top 40 or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's nothing that's gonna be perfect right now.
Yeah.
At least I think I think we need to wait to like summer, or maybe worst case like to next year
I
before
think
like
next year.
everything is gonna be like perfect with all the rules, and that it's actually an open circuit, and not like you have to like do all different kind of wildcard invites, play with stand-in and stuff to get like some VRS points.
Well, I was going to say, if we talk about CCT, which is what you guys played in here, you've been playing with Roy completely, right? You've been keeping the core for as a stand-in to basically be in these kind of tournaments. Do you know when that date ends? Do you know when you can not use Roy anymore?
I think from today, as I see Valve ranking updated, our strict is 53, I think.
Okay, but with Roy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that means, though, Josh, that when they got updated with the new roster, if I'm not mistaken, that even if you switch out Roy now, you can still play Core 4 and get all the points for it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
So-
pretty sure.
Right,
So yeah, officially,
Yeah.
I think I remember seeing actually this exact case, and it's because they updated it now. You can switch in whoever as long as you keep the same core. You can play with whoever, and you play for the name that's next to the points.
Yeah, I
Um,
wanted to get your perspective on that, actually. Maybe we should start with Salazar here, because I feel like you guys are kind of rorting the system, same as NIP are, by not using your full team, but using a core of a stand-in for the point. Like, do you think that's fair? Like, from your perspective, what else are you going to do? You're going to be like, oh, okay, we're just not going to play. Like, it makes sense to use Roy. But I feel like, from my perspective, Ryan, when I keep seeing a team like NIP using Jax for fucking 4 CCT closed qualifiers back-to-back because they want to get the core of the points, I just feel like they're rorting the system, that it's just being exploited to what it should be.
I mean, it's hard to say because, like, of course, I feel like it's weird that we can't just play full team, or like that other teams can't just play full team like NIP
Yeah.
did, and they played with Jackson, played like 7 CCT qualifiers, but didn't qualify to a single one, and that we have to play with stand-in because we need to keep a core ranking and stuff. I feel like it's weird, and of course, like we're like some way finding a loophole in the system or whatever you want to say, but. Yeah, I actually don't know what to say about it. Like, it's just, yeah, game is game, I guess.
Yeah, rules are meant to be broken, Ryan. No? It's like-
Yeah, but like the rules are also so bad that there's so many loopholes.
yeah, of course.
So like,
yeah.
I mean, we're not the only team doing it, and
Yeah.
like, not to say that it's okay, and not to say that it's wrong what we did. But like, yeah, I don't actually know what to say about it, but like, it's just how it is.
Oh, go. Yeah, bring it up. Bring up the match page, Ryan. Here we go.
yeah, I do find it really
oh,
funny.
get
that,
in. Look
yeah.
at Salazar go.
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe I can get away with this. You don't have to agree or disagree, but I'm an official NIP hater as of like
Okay.
the VRS changes. I mean they play by the rules. It's the same with you guys. Like they're in the same position, but it's so easy to hate them when they suck so much, man. Like it's so easy to like prey on their downfall. And it's nothing more satisfying, Josh. You'll agree with this point at least. There's nothing more satisfying than see a big fish get absolutely swallowed up by a dinky fish in the pond, right? And obviously, not saying you guys.
Are you
in
calling
partic-
Trick that
No,
dinky fish?
no. You didn't let me finish. You didn't let me finish. But like, you look at the teams that they play and like the people they're playing against.
I mean,
You know,
losing
like-
to ESC. What
yes.
the fuck, man?
So I know
Those guys
obviously I
are
had your
dogs.
match page,
Like,
but
they-
this this is what I was going to bring up. Obviously, for these guys, it's like the Polish lot from the permitter and whatever you call it days, right? Like all the
Los Gigitos.
yeah, all the
those
mixed
boys,
Polish
yeah.
teams that have come together, and it's like the fact that you're bugging the system in a way to benefit you to play with Jax and get all the points, and then you're not even gaining any points. Like fucking have
I mean,
that,
to be
have
fair,
that.
ESC did the same, right?
Yeah, they've
it's
done.
the
Yeah,
same thing.
there's a.
So
Yeah.
actually,
every
both
team
of
in the
them,
closed
yeah,
qualifier.
yeah, both of them are on fraud watch.
It's a bit weird. Like if you look at in our group, like I think every single team except OG did it.
Yes, I mean, you
And
can't-
like there is no arguing that this is retarded that you can say. I don't know if I can say that word, but it is that you can do it like that. And like
Yeah.
we can all agree on that, right? But that's just show the flaws in the system right now. That's how it is, right? And you're stupid if you don't do it. Like I mean, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, of
You
course.
got to put morals behind and be like, you
Exactly.
got to do what's.
I
But
mean, as long as you're following the rules, right? Which everyone is,
100%.
then no one can be planted for it, right? And
Yeah.
that's how it is, right?
Yeah.
Like,
But
yeah, of
I-
course you can make fun of NIP playing with Jax for the wildcard in the wild and not qualifying for a single CCT. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not because they played like any tier 1 teams and 7 of them, or how many it was.
I don't know, Ryan, if I brought this up on the last show or I brought it up in a broadcast. I can't quite remember. But I was casting a team a couple of weeks ago, and basically I was doing prep on one of the CCT games. I can't even remember what tournament it was. And I saw that they'd forfeited the third map, and I was like, that's a bit weird. Like, they played map 1, played map 2, and apparently on map 3,
yeah.
one of the players had a technical issue, and the coach went to stand in to basically be the 5th for the third map. But because the coach doesn't have any VRS points, they just got instantly DQ'd and had to just forfeit the game. And I'm like, I ain't being funny. That's not even rule breaking. Like, imagine if Rejin had to stand in for Salazar. Like, that's just insta loss. Like, you're not getting any positive from that. You're not getting any increase. So why does the team have to get DQ'd? Like, how is that in the rules?
I think you
What do you
haven't seen.
mean, bro?
I don't think you've seen Rejin in prac. We've practiced
Yeah.
with him 2-3 times while Nodius was sick, and like some games I can agree on you, but there's other games where he just runs out A main, a CT, an ancient runs out A main, 1 DX2 outside of mid, and then we just win the round.
Yeah. Never
So-
forget CS Summit 5. Is that right, Rejin?
Right. I don't worry. Still talk to my kids about that still.
Fair enough.
Right. I don't
Um,
think I've really got too much else.
No, I was gonna say I think that I was gonna bring up the whole group situation. You mentioned it, obviously me flaming NIP happily. That you guys and ESC
Actually, a
both
point
did it.
to that, Retro.
Go
Like,
for it.
I also think that it shows like NIP has really good players on paper, right? But I also think that shows, to give some credit to the tier 2 scene, tier 3, whatever, is that the gap is not as big as people think.
Yeah.
Like these tier 1 teams, I mean, yeah, they're tier 1. They're probably gonna win majority of the state matches and stuff like that. But you play an online game, it's anybody's game. I'm sorry to say, but it's like, maybe besides Vitality, Navi, I think the rest is a free fall.
No.
And I'm not
Yeah,
even joking.
I'd probably agree there. Yeah.
No. And that's
Like,
Well,
why
we saw that
it's so close right now.
I was going to say, we saw it in the Res qualifier, the Blast Res showdown that I casted the other week, where I think Astralis got invited, Big got invited, Heroic got invited, and everyone got upset in the first round against the open qual teams except Astralis. And even they really struggled. They got pressed to overtimes and third map deciders. So it just tells you that when these tier 1 teams have to drop down in the online divisions, they are going to struggle to hold the place and keep winning, basically.
Yeah, it was like
For sure.
Paravision beat Gamer Legion, Heroic beat Passion, 500 beat Big, and then obviously Astralis 2-0, but that was 11-13, 26-28, so it was like
It's,
Fucking real close.
fine.
it's just like FaZe in the coronavirus period. Like they were pretty bad as well, if I remember correctly. Like especially in the beginning, or at least in the beginning, I think. Like there was some Thunder Pick tournament, if I'm not mistaken, or that's the one they won. But like some of the others, they were really bad at online.
Yeah, it's it'll be
I
fun
think they're
to
starting
see,
up
Josh.
soon, actually, Ryan. That
Yes,
circuit again.
I do remember seeing something about that, so that'd be cool.
Yeah, they'll be back.
But there you go. 2 events that we've discussed. Some roster changes, Josh, that we want to have a little run through today. I think there's a fair few on our list that we're going to try and get through. Whether or not we blast through them all today or keep some for a future episode, we'll see.
Yeah.
Well, first things first, I think talking about the youth of today, Male09 joining the Johnny Speed side. I remember seeing Faceit tweet about him, and it's like, oh, this guy's like 3 kilo and he's like fresh out the womb, basically. And I thought, yeah, that's my time to hang up the mouse and keyboard. And now he's actually, started his playing career properly. That is, and I think in his first event, which was like some local Swedish event, he like smashed the whole thing, absolutely farmed the competition.
He's the Swedish dunk.
Yeah, he looks good, man. He was just standing in with those guys as well. I think he was just playing with them for the one event, and then they finally picked him up. Because I thought it was going to be Max.
Is that the male guy? Or?
Yeah,
Male09. Yeah, I think he's 15, is he?
Well,
like
15, yeah.
09 would make him 6 years younger than me, and I'm 21. So...
Oh, yeah, to be fair, I didn't
He's
even
not
clock
even
that the
eligible to
09
play
is
ESL events.
2009. Yeah, 15.
He's so
That
good.
is mental.
I haven't seen demos or anything, but like when I've watched some of their games and stuff, he's just killing everyone.
Yeah, no, look, I think it'll be nice to embed himself with some decent players. You know, he's got some experienced names on that team, so keep him fresh, and he'll be tier 1 ready fairly soon.
I also love that, actually, from Sweden. Like, if you look at the talents they have and the players they have, like, it's the same players getting recycled over and over and over again. The same constellations. Like, why not take a gamble on some young guy, right? Like,
well, I think Eyeballers have done that recently, no? Like, they picked up Poi, they picked up Delhi.
I don't follow that so much, but I just want to say, like, I love the idea about it, right? Because, like, for example, in the Danish scene right now, I can't name a single talent except this young guy called Salazar. You know, like, he's pretty young and good. Now, you know what I mean, right? Like it's like, we don't have this clear cut new dunk like Kyosuke or magnolias, whatever the fuck they call everyone from Russia,
Yeah.
right? Like they just like they're fucking falling from the trees like leaves, right? So yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to just bring up the tweet quickly about the Party Astronauts disband. We'll have a little
Yeah,
laugh about that one.
I'll,
Don't know if
put
you
on
saw this, Rejin or Salazar, but Axed, who's basically used to coach the EG White and like Party Astronaut team, he just had like a meltdown. I don't really know what happened here. But yeah, he basically just said "fuck this," and then his players kind of came out and said that I don't know what's going on, and then Fang put up a tweet, and then he said he was going to delete it, and then he kept it up. But I don't know what was going on the timeline. It was just cooking, Ryan. It was just
Yeah.
a lot of weird shit going on.
Just NACS, man, in a nutshell.
I will not.
I'm gonna be
operate-
honest. I don't even know like what the problem was still. And I
No,
tried to
no,
figure it out.
that's what I was gonna say. It's like all of these tweets, and you expect someone to be like, "Oh, this guy said, you know, this in this scrim and whatever," or like, "Yeah, we didn't like our coach," or "Yeah, we didn't like the way we ran things," you know. And you know what, Josh? I'll hands up, and I will say, at least they didn't give us like the shoey version of like, "Oh, we have like separate visions," you know. At least there was some soul behind these tweets of pure anger.
Sure.
But I do find it funny that that it was like, "I will not operate in a team where erratic and irrational roster decisions are made without the consultation of the coach and players. Your lack of professionalism has cost you the Blast Open
Just
qualifiers,
everything.
IEM Dallas closed, PGL, Fragadelphia, ECL, and your VRS core. You dug your own grave." And I just think that's
fair play. Fair play.
That's fucking hilarious to put on a tweet. Just,
I mean, one thing I don't understand is that like if someone didn't have sex with some other mom or some like on the crossover or something, I don't get it. Like, how can't you have
Yeah, I
3
don't know.
players of that just sticking together, have all the qualifiers, have all the like, how bad is it? Like,
Yeah.
you know, like that's insane.
Different
That you
gravy out
can't
in North
even
America.
have three people.
Yeah, I don't know. I wanted to get your take, Rejin, on where you reckon Moto goes next, because he got benched out on OG. I know you worked with him for a little while out on TSM. Do you think he's going to get a few offers? Do you think it's going to be a quick pickup for him?
I think actually maybe we should say to Salazar that Moto and me was on this show, and then a week after he got benched. So
Oh no.
no.
Oh shit.
I actually don't know. Like I haven't talked with him or anything, so I don't know. The problem I see is that he has a buyout, right? And who has money to buy an offer who needs an offer like Moto? You know what I mean? Like it's not like Liquid is gonna come and get like these teams, right? So I would assume like maybe some Nexus, some of those
not
teams,
back,
right?
not back home again.
Yeah, but where's the alternative, right? Where is he going, right? It's not like
Yeah.
if he had been popping off in OG after TSM, then it would probably have made sense, right? But like, or it would have given him more opportunities, right? But it's
Sure.
not like he have done that, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope the best for him. He's a really nice guy. So
Okay.
Yeah,
More
I was-
changes. Go on, Salazar. If you got anything here?
No, it was just to add on Richard saying he's a nice guy. I remember I sat in the plane with him at the when we were going to Mongolia to play a CS event back in Gaming Gladiators. I remember I sat with him in the train and he read a book the whole way. So yeah, props to him.
Yeah.
he just
Didn't wanna
raw,
talk to you,
raw,
yeah.
raw dogged the
Yeah,
flight and he
just
read a
raw
book.
dogged a whole flight
Yeah.
and read a book.
Respect, man. That is, yeah, fair. I was going to say, Josh, I think you're going to talk about the fact that Dihar steps down
Yeah.
this
well,
whole like
'cause-
Monty situation and Monty Gen and whatnot, right?
Well, it's funny because we had, what was it, Gizmy and I don't even know who came on. Was it Gizmy and Lean? We had a
Right,
couple of
wasn't
the yeah, it might have been. We had a couple of the Monty Gen guys come on the show. Couldn't even be that long ago, 4 or 5 months maybe. And now Monty Gen just is Monty. The core of the academy team is the main roster.
Yeah.
So I don't know what was going on there because for a portion of time, you know, Monty had been a really stable team at the top end of tier 2. They'd gone this whole like core 4 Polish and then Demka, and now all of a sudden it just feels like one by one, Ryan, the lineup's just going. Like it's just completely disappearing.
It was FNL that we had on the show.
Ah,
by the way,
FNL, that's it,
but,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's the only one that didn't get moved up, funnily enough, and he's like currently playing on like some mixed team. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know. It's really strange to see because as much as I can appreciate, obviously Monty wanting to fill gaps, I think Monty, we kind of knew, especially I think 2022, 23, maybe even like a little bit of 2024.
Like with
They-
War on them, right?
Yeah, they were a team that were partly sort of CIS, normally Ukrainian core, but they were always a team that had like top end tier 2 talent that were challenging, playing RMRs and do things like that. And obviously, as much as we love flailing our flag here, Josh, on tier 2 talk, I've got to say, to remove Diha, Key, and Waro, and then bring in what Ryu, Gizmy, Lean, does feel like a mega downgrade. And
Yeah.
And
the o-
Krasnal also stopped there, right?
yes, he
Yeah.
went to
I think
the-
Hades is the last one left now.
and Demka.
Oh, Demka's still there. Okay.
Yeah. So
Demka's been there for ages.
yeah,
Yeah.
and he's been there since the 3rd of the 8th, 2022. So what, 3rd of
2.5
August.
years somehow.
And yeah, I don't know, man. Another thing that I didn't understand with the roster changes that they made is, look, I can understand Waro 2K, Key, D here if they all go, I'm not touching this mouse and keyboard if it's for your name. Like, you know, if it was like really bittersweet. But I don't get why they didn't just try and keep a third person in for the sake of VRS points and the cores and stuff. Like, obviously we were talking about what you guys did at Tricks for keeping the points from previous core to new one, but my thought would have been at least try and sort of keep the name going, because now that they've made this change, if my knowledge of VRS is not mistaken, they're basically
Unless they get the new core of the academy, no?
well, but where
But
where
they're
are they?
ranked 77
Yeah.
right now in Valve
Yeah, it's,
ranking.
it's not
Oh,
too
okay.
bad.
Fair enough then.
It's okay.
I was
it's
going to say,
okay.
if Monty was higher, then it would make sense to play with them for a bit, but maybe there's not much of a downfall. But yeah, I don't know,
Yeah.
man. Like,
I
either
don't know,
way,
yeah.
I think you've lost a lot of firepower, you've lost a lot of experience, and those are the two big metrics that we sort of rate teams off of, right? And so I can't be too excited
Yeah.
with this new Monty team, I must admit.
Well, it's. I've got a funny one for the next one, Ryan. So this new GTZ Bulls team, I think we spoke about them on a previous episode. It's like the old Rhino guys, and anyway, I casted them in Compass a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, mate. So it's a core 3 of like kind of veteran players that have been around the scene for a while, and then they've got this Linko fella and this MS. And it took me about 5 rounds, Ryan, and I was like, holy shit, these guys are awful. They're fucking so bad. And anyway, they ended up winning the series, and Linko comes on the interview, and I'm like, fuck, what do I say to this fella? I've just fucking said he is awful. The whole best of 3. So anyway, he comes on, and he's like, oh, yeah, we're looking really good. Everything. I'm like, fuck off, mate. Like, you just aren't. You're just fucking terrible. And then MS got kicked, and there was a tweet about him getting kicked, and then GTZ deleted the tweet about kicking him. I'm like, what's going on? How? And then they've like retweeted the comment of I don't know, man. I saw the tweet about him getting kicked, and then they just deleted it.
Yeah. Here, Josh. I saw this literally. I was just scrolling on Twitter to try and sort out this tweet, and I saw this
Okay.
from Zola, obviously friend of ours, did UKIC. Here's a good one for you. If I open the image in a new tab and I'll zoom out a little bit, a 0.05. So clearly Josh knows
Holy.
something. That's got
That's
to be one
lower
of the...
than my vertigo from Summit.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was possible. I'm free.
There you go. But yeah, I saw this and I couldn't believe my eyes, Josh. I was like, what is going on? Like, you're in or you're out, right? Like, that's the way it goes.
I don't know, man.
And they're doing the fucking hokey cokey on that team. I don't know. One,
I mean, they just beat Sassy and stuff, no? The GTC.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think
well,
I did do a tweet yesterday because there was a CCT Series 19, best of 3, 6 p.m. our time, Ryan, Z10 GTZ, and then the next day, same time, CCT Series 20. I'm like, what's going on? Like, same time, same teams, but different tournament. Well, I don't know. It's a bit difficult to
I think
follow
that's
up with
because of the VRS, right? Like, they have to invite certain teams to this states and stuff like that because they want to be.
Oh no, it's just more
They're
so
the
that
people, right?
you've got CCT 19 running at the same time as 20.
Yeah.
It's just
It's
a
like the
bit-
play-in, right? Getting run and then.
no. This was both
No,
main
they're
Swiss
both-
at the same
yeah.
time.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. But so anyway, yeah, those guys are pretty much dogs, Ryan.
There you go.
And yeah, kicked the player.
Speaking of not dogs, I must admit I'm a big fan of the move that we're talking about now, Josh, and that is Lackey being paid some well, I guess Aurora being paid some money to wave goodbye to Lackey, and he's now on gun 5. And I must admit, Josh, maybe I'm hard smoking some cope here or something.
Okay.
But I was a big fan of this Gun 5 team before this roster change.
Looked all right. Yeah.
And obviously, they benched Easy for Lackey, right? So he's currently sat on the bench for them. And I've got to say, I'm a big fan of this change, getting Lackey on board. I think good experience. I mean, obviously, you have Celta, ex-Aurora player, Jello, who, to be honest, he's not been anywhere, but he's looked incredible for Gun 5. And then obviously Estame, who previously played on Amcal.
He's on Amcal, wasn't he? Yeah.
And before that was on Sprout for a little bit before the almighty
That's right.
collapse. And then obviously Fine Shine from Hotu. Like, you've actually got some serious CIS talent, and this change in particular was big.
Yeah, the only unfortunate thing is that they lost Tanir. I think you can try to build that team, but losing a player like him is sat the team back quite a bit. But I mean, Celta's calling now for them.
Yes.
I know we've had him on the show previously. Fine Shine I don't rate massively, but that Zailo fella looks quite good. And I mean, Lackey's an experienced player, so I think just keep an eye on Gun 5, because I think towards the end of last year they were getting some really good wins. They were going quite deep in a lot of the CCT tournaments. I mean, the ranking's quite good. 38 is extremely high.
Yeah. And that's
they
on Valve as
won
well.
Some 500 casino, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, that must have been about January time when that tournament was on.
Yeah, in December, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, yeah, that might have helped quite a bit.
Yeah,
Then.
they won 500 casino with Senior.
Yeah,
like back in December the 17th.
I want
another one, Ryan. Do you want to bring up the next one?
I'm just gonna switch it over, and I want to hear words from Rejin and Salazar here. And it is this team saw making two very interesting changes: the removal of two Portuguese players. Obviously being Roman and SHR. Roman, longest standing player alongside Muteris, to bring in British Pride Azuwu and Polish not so talent Sejot. That's my view of it, at least. Rejin, Salazar, you want to maybe shine some light?
Did you
You're
say
saying not so talent, and he
well,
just killed
look,
35.
no, I'm not.
37.
Right, me and Josh talked to some
37.
friends.
No,
me and
hang
Josh
on.
talked
Let
to
him
some
cook. Let him
friends
cook.
about this, and it was a one-in-a-lifetime game, man. I don't know if we watched the same. I don't know if we watched the same Sejot, but he has been playing so mid for this team. I know they've only played like 3 BO3s, and I was only joking, but
bring the numbers up. Bring the numbers up, right? Let's have a look.
One game he did well in, and I knew that was going to be a talking point, Josh. I was so ready to go with it. He dropped a 2.22, and then a 1.4, 1.1, 1.1, 0.7, 0.6, 0.6, 0.9, 0.6.
I mean, to just talk about this whole Saw, I think, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but if you can have a good run in, I don't remember what event it was.
The PGL event, right? The LAN, yeah.
Yeah, with Barry and Arostos and Ujax, and then all of a sudden Barry is gone, and then suddenly Arostos and Ujax is gone, and then I see some kind of tweet on Twitter where they are saying some fight or something against Saw, Ujax I think it was, and the former Saw coach.
I
Portuguese
did
as
see
well.
this. That was with Juve. They're like outside a courthouse
Yeah,
or something.
exactly.
No?
And then I'm thinking there must be something else behind the scenes, and then all of a sudden I was confused why they picked up the guy SHR, because he was AVP player from his former team and was he was absolutely amazing. And then they pick him up to play rifle now, and now they bench him after what is it 3 months, 2 months, and they kick Roman, and then it's a full random move to get Asuvu and Seyat. I'm not saying they're bad players, but it's full random. I feel like they're just with 3 Portuguese players who's been playing Portuguese CS for their whole life, if I'm not mistaken.
I think the bit that surprised me the most was when Muteris basically put there was an article on HLTV and he just said we don't have the talent. I was like, well, what the fuck do you mean? You can't get a 4th and 5th player and not even give them time to see if it works.
Yeah, I think Story also said in some interview, if I'm not mistaken, that that the problems they had on the team can't be fixed with players from Portugal. So I don't know. I just think there's something more behind the scene. There must be something. I don't know if it's the players who got angry in the end or
Well,
if it's
like if
the
you want some a
organization or
little
what it
bit of
is.
insider here, I have a little bit, but I know that after was it Cologne? They did good.
That was the
Yeah.
run where they beat
Yeah,
FaZe.
yeah. Then Ujerks and Aristos, right? Their contract were running out by the end of 2024. Thor didn't want to sell them for less than €250,000, I think it was.
Okay.
And that was the same price they were giving you by 10th of December. And they had 20 days left on their contract, right? And I think this is me probably taking a story out my ass here, but this was the cause of the downfall of the roster, basically, because they were keeping them in prison. They wanted like €500,000 for this. You know what I mean? Like that was
Yeah.
the so like that's why I think the whole downfall happened basically. But that's also why Aristo stopped playing with them, I think, at some point and got benched, and then Ujerks left after and stuff like that. So yeah, as far as I know, at least.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, Ryan, because I think for Muteris, right, he's been going for such a long time, and he's finally had that taste of being successful. And I just wondered, does his motivation just die if this team starts getting rough? Like, if we look at another few months where they start dipping, does he just go fuck this and just like retire, just like give up completely?
This was going to be my point that I wanted to bring up about this team, and obviously it's to no serious discredit of Azuwu or Sejshot, but it does feel like this Saw team in particular is, I don't want to say last chance, but a serious chance, the go big or go home moment for a lot of these players. Like, as you said, if this team doesn't work out, Muteris, I mean, he could be looking at retirement. For Azuwu and Sejshot, it would have been back-to-back failed projects, obviously on Endpoint, where, you know, there's no beating around the bush. That last team, obviously with them two in it, was pretty disastrous. You've got Story, who, I mean, again, we don't know what he's like in a European team, if I'm not mistaken. Same story for Agile. And as you say, like, if you're looking at Portuguese tunnel, the pipeline, there's basically nowhere for them to go, nothing that they can do. For Azu and Sejshot, I think, you know, how many eyes are going to be on you if this team doesn't go well because of Endpoint and then because of Saw? For Muteris, as you say, it might just be time to hang up the mouse and keyboard. Like, I feel like for me, this, as you say, like this must be such a roller coaster of emotions for Muteris, where he's probably playing at the peak of his career at some of the best levels that he individually and as a team have played at. You know, everything's going really well, and then, you know, as Rejin said, you know, if these people are asking for €500,000 for two players and the contract runs out in, you know, a couple of weeks or whatever, then like it just feels like you had everything ready at your fingertips and someone's just pulled it right from you. And unfortunately, I say unfortunately, they're doing really well this EPL. You know, they just went 3-0 over M80 today, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, it would have been.
Yeah, they beat M80.
It was M80. Yeah, I was trying to think what the other. It was the Game Allegiance Hailu one.
Yeah, sadly.
And you know, for me, it's like they did well at EPL. We'll have to see. I know I flamed Sejshot a little bit. I don't think he's that bad, by the way. I actually think he's an okay player.
Just go and check out the last few episodes.
Yeah, but as I said, like, I think my expectations for this team, unfortunately, being 19th in the world ranking, is not to stay there. I think that they're gonna find it tough in the next couple of months, especially, you know, if they start underperforming and stuff. They're gonna be playing online CS, and then, you know, you could be looking at another nip or whatever.
But I'm just looking at this Saw lineup. I'm like, okay, Saw for me is dead. You know what I mean? Like, this is not Saw anymore. This is like a new project, right?
Yeah.
You go international, see what happens, right? Which I think is a shame, because I think, like, actually I was looking at a lot of Portuguese scene and I spoke with a lot of players from there, and the only thing they are lacking is basically just someone to pay their salary so they can go full time. Like, you have a guy like Icarus, I can't remember all the names right now, but there's like I think some of them playing in Rhino now and stuff like that. And they're actually really solid players. So, like, if I'm Saw, why don't you do it like that, right? You know what I mean? Like, pick up those players and rebuild from there. But I also like the idea that hey, let's try it with the Suvo and Seod, right? Like, they probably got them pretty cheap in Endpoint, if not for free. So it kind of makes sense in that way also, like, because they are in a position to gamble as well, right?
Yeah,
that's what I mean. I think there's something more behind the scenes. Like, I don't know if Saw is becoming. I don't know what happened with all that. 100% with all that court thing with the former players, but like I guess there have to be something if otherwise the players just don't want to play with any more Portuguese players. I don't know.
Yeah. I guess, Josh, the next thing that we can talk about is the classic sellout to the Asian region, I guess, right? And that is our good
I don't know
friend.
about that one. That's a bit harsh.
Well, no, there's been a fair few people that have done this now, Josh.
There's been a couple, yeah.
And that is that Boros is now wearing a GG How jersey.
Team on paper is actually all right, and
Yeah.
to be honest, when I look at being an Asian representative, there's going to be quite a lot of LAN tournaments in Asia throughout this year and going into next year. And I think they can really capitalize on LAN performances. I mean, what was it, that XO team that was like Pole Bandana and a few of the MENA boys won that Extremes LAN tournament at the start of the year. I kind of look at Aaron, who we've had on the show previously, Bibu, that's been around for a long time, and Boris. Look, I think it's a good chance for him. Like, I think
Yeah.
going here and getting his name back, I'm sure Boris has been kicked to shit on social media and what have you, and probably feels quite low, to be honest, of going from playing in major playoffs to then getting the call up to Falcons and then needing to fucking play with Aaron on GG How. Like, it feels like it's a big step down, but sometimes that's what you need to get back to good individual form. So I actually think this is a really good chance for Boris to get back to what we know from previous years.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like when he was playing back in Monte, like I think he was absolutely amazing. Like,
Yeah.
he was just taking up duels, like not using nades at all, and then he just shot whoever came in his crosser. Like, and then I think after this Falcons project and the video like vlogs and stuff where he switched mouse mid tournament, where they talked in the huddle after a game or what it was. Like, I think a lot of these things maybe have taken too hard on him. And if I'm not mistaken, he played a little bit with Into the Breach, which
Yes.
Smooth, no?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but there's a
And
big
I have-
role clash there as well. Like, him and Flatro are literally the same player and they're on the same team.
Yeah.
So I kind of look at that one and think, from a managerial perspective, I don't know why Boris and Flatro are on the same team. It just doesn't make any sense. You have one or the
Yeah.
other. So,
I
but
mean,
yeah, just
I think like
Yeah.
he did himself in basically. Like all.
but there's
like,
always chance for redemption,
had-
though, isn't there?
if the same player does
I
the
mean-
same mistake for 3 years in a row, you're not gonna change.
Yeah.
I had him in endpoint for a few months. I wanted to bench him almost immediately. I came in, and then he benched himself after a month. Right? Like I mean, it's not like I have nothing against him. I actually like him a lot as a person and everything, right? But when you're talking about a job and everything, like there's too much. I'm not gonna sit here and say anything, right? But there is just too much, like, known behind the scenes, and like Falcons gave him a chance. Who was it? Was it Monte also? Or who was it?
He
was
went
playing
to-
with,
they had him.
Yeah, it was
ITB after.
endpoint to Monty to
Uh,
Falcons to ITB.
Yeah, and he was an ITB. Then you can talk about role clash and everything, but what I heard is nothing to do with that at all. Like, that's something, yeah, so something completely different. And I think if you keep doing that throughout like 2 or 3 years of your career, you can talk about being young and everything, but if you just don't give a fuck, like, no one's gonna touch you.
Yeah.
Unless you're gonna be Simple or Monesi or something like that, then we can talk about looking through it, right? But
Yeah, well, I was just thinking, this GG Hal team, Ryan, they're playing in the Mesa Asia Masters, which is a LAN tournament in Mongolia, and that qualifies you to the next PGL LAN. And I actually don't think the competition's that difficult. Rare Atoms there, there's no Tai Lu, there's no Mongols there, and there's no FlyQuest there. So you've kind of got the rest of the best of the rest. So it could actually be a very good chance for GG How to have like a bit of a deep run and see what his individual form's going to be like on LAN.
One more small European change, and that is that Royals found a home.
Took a
don't-
while.
Yeah, and don't know how long that's going to last, in all honesty, Josh.
I have no idea who the org even is. Like,
No.
never even heard of him.
No, I've never heard of them either. It was what did you say? Nostalgia.
Was it Nostalgia or something like that?
Yeah. Not a clue, but they've got themselves a home, which is nice to see. Team Nostalgia.
Well, look, if it funds them to go to the next epic LAN, I'm all for it, mate. If
Yeah.
they can give them at least a little bit of cash to go to the next LAN to get VRS points, fucking go up, Swaggy and the boys.
There
We're
you
gonna
go.
beat them in the next epic.
There you
Yeah.
Dreams crushed by Salazar. Danish man walks over UK talents. I think that's it for our roster changes, Josh. And
Yeah, I don't think there's anything else.
our last sort of series thing that we've got going here in Tier 2 Talk, our last point of the day, is the Tier 2 Dream Teams. Rejin, I think you've done this a couple of times now. Salazar, you'll be new, but basically the way this works is that we'll be asking you to make your Tier 2 Dream Teams. Clue is in the title. You can only use Tier 2 players. But of course, the way it works is that you go back and forth picking a player each until you have a full 5. You can pick yourself and one more teammate to play in this team, and you can't pick the same person that the other person's picked. So if Rejin picks Boros, Salazar, you can't pick Boros. And, you know, you get the idea. To go back and forth, and then our lovely judge, Dweg, at the end will judge whose team is the best team. We'll start with you, Rejin. Who is the first person you're putting into your dream team?
Kaiosuko.
Okay.
Where does the tier, like, where is this?
Wait, so you name a player, and we'll be the judge if they're tier 2 or they're like not tier 2.
Okay.
I already won. You can just fill the rest out. Just say random names.
Okay. And should I pick myself or not?
You can if you want.
Depends if you want a good AWPer.
Okay. Okay. The first one I will pick is NPL.
NPL, yeah. You gonna get him to call or just frag? What's he doing?
Both.
He's doing everything. He's fragging and calling.
There you go. Rejin, who is next?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the. Normally I always pick my own opera when you're at the show, Jason. So I have to do it again here also. Salazar.
There you go.
I will make him the best opera.
No, comms are looking great already.
Okay. I will choose Molodai from Amkan.
Who?
Hey!
Molodai.
Oh yes, the old DMS boy.
Fuck,
Yeah.
I have to
Yeah,
change
he actually does look insane.
Yeah.
he does look good.
Insane.
That was my second pick.
Yeah.
I should have taken before you.
It's the first time he's been picked on the show though. He's not been picked previously.
What? I feel like he's so good.
Well, I'm gonna go crazy and say Mile09.
Oh, get the youth in there. Now we're talking. Are you pulling him out of school though, or is he still like is he full
He's gonna be living here with me.
Yeah, okay.
He's going to be homeschooled by Rejin, both in school and out of school. So as soon as he's done with his math homework, he's straight on the PC doing some Counter-Strike.
Yeah, where the power is off every second day.
Hey! It was one day. Hey, you shouldn't talk. You were in Sweden and lost power the other day. I had to stand in and everything. Oh my god.
Is is NIP players, are they tier 2?
Oh yeah,
absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, then I will choose Shush.
Yeah. I think in current NIP form, I think you have to accept that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I just full flame them for being bottom of the barrel tier 2, so more than welcomed in the tier 2 talk dream team.
Okay. Well, I could go NIP and pick like the Aristos, U-Jerks, everything, but gonna be a little more, you know.
I reckon you go younger than male. There's got to be another one.
Well, I'm thinking between two here.
Oh, well, don't say the other one.
I'm gonna take Result then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He gets picked quite a lot on this show.
I like him.
Not a huge amount recently.
I started to like him even more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, what do I have? I have AVP players.
Who's gonna be your anchor? Who's gonna be?
I feel like Shush NIP or Shush back in the days in Heroic was kind of anger. No.
You're gonna get him like hard anchor. You're just gonna okay. Yeah.
I mean, he's just that's where he's best in, right?
yeah, bring back his old days, and then like NPL is like kind of star IGL,
Mm.
and then just to get some more Danish players, I want to take Leaks from my team. Leaks, full star player together with NPL.
There we go. And Rejin, your
Fuck,
fifth
I only
player.
have one left. Wait, who's the IGL there? Jason, that's gonna be you then.
No, I can't.
Oh no.
End of Forza?
Oh,
Well-
hello, I'm back. I think the internet
Yeah.
died for a sec.
Yeah,
I
I
thought
think
it was me,
ReTr's
actually. I'm
done
so
some
used to it.
calling.
Did result call at some point? I don't remember.
Yeah, it says. Oh no, maybe not. I thought he did some calling for a short stint of time.
Well, okay. Let's do Nemanja then.
Oh yeah,
He's an
Nemanja.
IGL, no?
yeah, he
Yeah,
is. Yeah,
he is.
yeah.
Like he has the
Aggressive,
best
aggressive
radar.
rifler.
I mean,
yeah.
he's a very good in-game leader. Very, very good in-game leader.
I
I
knew
say
that
that
was
out loud?
coming as well. I knew
This is too troll. I can't do this. This is too troll.
Just joking.
Yeah, no, he's just a sick in-game leader.
Retro is that we lost Retro.
To be
He
fair,
lagged
he
out,
can't.
he lagged out IRL.
I will say his English isn't that great though, Rejin. I've spoken to him. He's
Again, homeschool. He just joined me here.
old
it's fine.
school. Yeah. He's good.
But
Alright.
okay, can I say something here, Salazar? Just to not to. I already picked my team, right? So you need an AWPer, right? And I picked yourself, so you can't.
No,
pick.
I have an AWPer.
Oh,
Molodai is AVP
Yeah,
player.
but he can also do rifle, right? So you need another one. He can do
Okay.
anything, Molodai.
Okay.
Like take a guy like
Another AWPer.
Grix.
Who?
That's one to look out for. Grix,
Grix? He's so good. That's actually true. He's so good.
Aurora.
Yeah.
Are you taking
Oh,
Grix?
he's insane.
No, wait.
Okay.
He's good. But
He's
fuck
good.
you
He's
all.
not that good. Yeah.
Well, you it's hard to have double up, right? So.
I mean, no, I can't take an AVP player. I can't. Grix is good. I could have taken him as well instead of Molodai, but I think I will take Demon from Navi Junior.
Oh yeah.
Kind of like half lurk ish. So I have my star player Leaks, NPL second star player IGL, Shush hard anchor, and Demon he's like semi, and Molodai he's just he's doing whatever he wants to.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Josh, and then we've got.
I mean,
Regin's
you've got
team.
Male 09 that's still going to be in school for 3 years. You've got Namana that can't speak English, and then you've got Jason that has to communicate with Kiyosuke in, well, just broken English. I don't know, man. I think that team is chalked. I don't think that team is working at all.
No, but I actually have an idea here. What about like they learn Russian or something?
Not
What the
everyone.
East is, right? Yeah.
No.
So
To be fair though, Josh,
So you
right,
want-
I
you
will
want-
say, right, I'm not gonna. We say this a lot in our episodes, but I would say that maybe a couple of the players in both teams, right, will have played enough Face It / FPL / whatever
Yeah, but
to
it depends
know
if you've got Namana online or LAN.
base. Well, okay. I can't believe this, man. We actually just can't. I'm gonna start saying Namana's tier
I didn't
1
say
soon.
anything. I didn't
Nah,
say
well,
anything. I just
Yeah, but we all know what you meant, Josh. And
Where's
I'm
the
gonna-
500 cameras? Aren't they like this? Are they...
Where's Bubble when you need it? Was it Bubble? Who was it? The Oxygen, I think it was
Oxygen,
actually.
oxygen, mate. The entry pass on Mirage is
Yeah.
unreal. Yes. We need to close this, mate. We need
Yeah.
to get out.
All
of
right,
there,
well,
right?
it's on you, man. Who are you picking? Is it Regin's team or is it Salazar's?
Oh no, it's definitely Salazar's team. That's cooking. That's cooking.
There you go. Unfortunately for you, Regin, Salazar.
Just because you have good arguments and stuff.
Yeah,
I have a fun team. W kill.
yeah. The young Furia of
Yeah.
Yeah,
Europe.
get 5W to sign then. That's it. That's how we do it.
There we go. I think that's it though, Josh. On a more serious note, apart from our tomfoolery in the tier 2 dream teams.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask quickly. Do you guys know what tournaments you've got coming up Yeah, because I don't think there's much that you could play in the Danish scene until the next season of Dust 2, right?
Let me see here in my calendar. It's absolutely empty.
There we go.
Wait for the
But
open quals.
we didn't have any ranking until today, so hopefully some tournaments come out now and some invites our way. That is all we can hope for, right?
I was gonna say,
It's not much we can do other than practice, right? And go for that.
do you think you'd get play-ins or main Swiss of CCT? I'm not really sure what the cutoff is looking like with people declining at the moment.
That
I
depends,
think
like
it's
who is
play.
declining and everything, right?
Right.
Yeah, because you have to invite from number 1, don't you? Technically, you have to invite number 1,
Yeah.
then number 2, then number 3.
Something like they got 2 days to accept, right? And then if they don't accept, it's just you
Moves
move
down.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Imagine FaZe getting like 20 invites back to back to CCT, and Carrigan's like,
It
bro,
must-
just fucking stop sending them.
do you reckon they just have an agreement where it's like, look, whatever you
It's
send
straight
us,
spam.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. Block this user. Just, I want to talk to you, man. Look, if it's for a LAN, we'll think about it. Any online, just fucking pass it on, man. They got like an automated response email. Unfortunately, we still believe no. Ah,
Yeah.
right.
I
well,
actually think they have to invite
yes.
people.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
they do. Yeah, yeah, no, they
That's-
full
that's
do.
what we're
And
saying,
they
yeah.
also have to wait for the decline.
That's right. Yeah. Oh, really? I thought it was
Yeah.
a timer thing.
Yeah, it is. But like, let's say you have to respond until Wednesday, right?
Yep.
But then it will be easier. And I send out like Monday or whatever, right? And if you respond on Monday, it will be faster with the invites going down, right? But so they have to wait until Wednesday, then they can hypothetically, right? And then they have to, okay, now the time runs out. They go to the next one, and they have until Friday. So like it can be like, like
Yeah,
2
yeah.
weeks to invite someone to a tournament, where it's like, okay.
Yeah. There you go. I'd just take the piss, Josh. I just wouldn't reply. I'll just let it sit there for 2 days.
reply with
yeah.
like 1 minute on the deadline. It's like, we're not coming.
Just imagine they're
Yeah.
actually saying yes. Holy shit, FaZe is coming.
Yeah. It's like the episode of
Wrong
the,
email, wrong
yeah.
email. Yeah.
you know the episode of The Simpsons where like Homer like finally uses his brain and then like the steam engine turns on and everyone gets to work. That's like all of CCT offices just like kick into gear. No, fair
Yeah,
enough.
I got nothing else.
There you go.
I'm
Thank
done.
you very much, gents, for joining us, by the way. Hopefully CCT Season 2 Series 21 Main Swiss Open Qual fucking 360 No Scope 5000 invite you to their event, and you can start playing some CS again. Anything you guys want to say?
I can't wait for Jason to get kicked next week, by the way, because that's normally what
Yeah.
happens when Rejin comes on the
That's what
show.
I'm waiting for.
Any final words? Yeah.
Hopefully, no more benching for 8 months. So that's all I have to say.
There we go. Rejin, you got anything for us?
Well, I have to thank Legendary Group for taking us in and actually trusting me and Valde rebuilding this Danish project, and also thank you to all the players who kind of believe in the project, and that's also big shout out to Jason as well, like and to everyone else on the team. Don't cry, Jason. It's just it's fine. No, a huge shout out to them, and if you haven't seen Trick, like the new offices and stuff, it's gonna be in the Parken in Denmark, where FC Copenhagen is playing the football game, also in the national stadium. It's gonna be really, really amazing, and I know they're gonna have some boot camps there and stuff, so it's gonna be really awesome. So keep an eye out for that.
Well, I'm waiting for our invitation. I think we've got to go to the boot camp, Ryan. Live
Yeah.
tier 2 talk in person. Yeah.
Play
That
some
would be
football
fun, though.
on the pitch.
Play-
Yeah.
On the pitch, yeah.
Anyway, thanks.
I don't think we will be allowed, but yeah,
Look,
I'm ready.
Yeah, it doesn't matter when. Yeah.
If we can bend the rules in VRS, we can get on that pitch, mate.
Thank you very much, gents, for joining us. We appreciate it as always. Until next time, thank you very much. Bye bye.